This is my first read of 2026, Sky Full of Elephants by Cebo Campbell. The main thing I know about it, white people do not exist anymore in this world, in this version of Earth. I have some questions. Since race is a construct, does that mean everyone who identifies as white is gone? Is it only white people in the Americas? Is it people with Caucasian ancestry that identify as white? Is it people who have very low melanin and have Caucasian ancestry and identify as white? Or is it people with very minute levels of African DNA and are not melanated? I feel like that's not the smartest question, but I don't know. It was a question that came up. Was it guilt and shame why they don't exist anymore? Was it the ancestors of black, brown, and people of color coming together to dismiss them? Or was it a massive band of Etsy witches? I'm going to start reading this, and I will see if this book answers any of those questions and what new questions come up. I am 32 pages into Sky Full of Elephants by Cebo Campbell. The world has been opening up to me in the story. I still have questions. I'm still looking to see where it goes. The main protagonist so far, Charlie, he came across this lady named Ethel, and she cooked him dinner of fish. I forgot what kind of fish it is, but how she said she caught the fish, it's got me thinking like something is up with the fish. And I feel like the fish has something to do with, or is connected to, how white people don't exist in this world anymore. Like I feel like there's a connection there. Not like a connection as to why they don't exist, but more like now that they don't exist, this is affecting the fish. So I don't know. That was just my thought. The narrative voice of the story, I'm not loving it completely. It's not bad, but it's not. It's kind of a drag for me because I don't like poetic prose. I like my prose straightforward. Like I said, I like a plain glass window. I don't like a stained glass window. The more poetic side of the book works well in the dialogue so far. And two quotes that I love that have just really that were very profound and poetic. The first one is on page 28. You don't know what I can and can't do. And more than that, who does anything all by themselves? I started the fire, see? But the wind took some. One tree handed some to the next. Clouds held back the rain until their bellies turned purple just so. So no, I wasn't by myself. I started what needed to be done. I just found that quote very profound and very beautiful. The next quote that I loved was on page 29. Well, I feel like you've got the jewel of the world in your hands now. And how long have you begged somebody else's God to have even a piece of it? People done sacrifice everything for it, just hoping, and now you have it. The whole thing from shining sea to sea. And damned if you don't have a clue what to do with it, except keep wondering if you deserve to have it in the first place. I think you shouldn't be worried about the truth of what happened to them, and busy yourself with the truth of what's done happened and what's going to happen to you. Charles, it's okay to be two things at once. Every day that a tree is growing, it's dying at the same time. If it can do that, then a very sad thing can also give you release. This is my house. My family left us out and claimed this land. I raised my kids here and my kids raised theirs. It's my land and I still burned it. Limit how you feel about any of it and you are limited. Get up. Oh, and the last quote that I liked on page 3. Why else would you? They're gone. Now you got no excuse for who you can be. So who you gonna be? Same as you were? Or everything you would have been otherwise? It just had me thinking of like, I don't know, like Pan-Africanism, Tulsa and Rosewood and Oscarville and all these places where like black people come together and can thrive without the interference of white people. It also had me thinking about like what's going on right now with iShowSpeed going on the tour of Africa and how so many black people across the world are getting to see Africa in a different way. They're not getting to see it as like it's poverty and it's, root houses out, like, well, not houses, like shacks out in rural areas and stuff like that. It's like there's big established cities, clean streets, all kinds of stuff like that. You're getting to see all these different aspects of African countries that you aren't regularly getting to see. And it's making me think of like, this is the possibilities I feel of black people coming together, black people getting to have Kuji Chagalia, be self-determination, black people getting together and determining their lives and making things happen for themselves. I'm gonna read some more and see what other quotes come out of it that I like, and then how this story unfolds, and if any of my questions are answered, because I need to know what happened, how these white people got to not existing in this world anymore, and then additionally, what are black people gonna do in this new world? Like, how are you building up? And then also, what happened to all the other people that are not black? And how are we defining, like, what, like, I still want to know how we defining blackness, because he kind of touched on how whiteness is being defined within this story, because there's still people that are not black that are there, but aren't white. So I'm just like, are Italian people a part of this? Are like Jewish people a part of this? Are Irish and Scottish people a part of it? Although technically they kind of are, you know, like I just want to know. Are like white Arab people, are white Latino people a part of it? Like, I need answers to like specifics, and I feel like there's still a little vagueness that's happening at the beginning of the book when it comes to the discussion of race and who as white people is disappearing, who as white people does not exist in this world anymore, and who is allowed to stay. I am 82 pages into A Sky Full of Elephants by Cebo Campbell. I have some thoughts. The little situation, that was surreal. That scene reminded me of Atlanta. It kind of made me think of Sorry to Bother You. This book is kind of making me think of Sorry to Bother You. I'm assuming this book would be considered Black absurdist. Kind of storytelling, I think. I don't know, or Black surrealism. But yeah, the little situation was very surreal. The airport too was also kind of surrealist. It kind of reminded me of Atlanta as well. But it also reminded me of Soul Plane. It made me think of Soul Plane. At the airport, they saw someone Asian and then realized he was with his family. I guess they were all Asian too. But like, they didn't go into details. They didn't go into specifics, because at that point I was like, what was the question I asked? I asked, Asian in what way? How? Because I'm like, were they South Asian, Southeast Asian, or East Asian? Because I'm just like, if you're gonna say what specifically, like, were they melanated? What is it? Because I doubt it's like Northern Asian or even Central Asian people, or like West Asian people. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. That was a question. Like, when that came up, I was like, explain yourself. What do you mean Asian? Like, explain. Break it down. Be specific, because I'm curious. And it was kind of funny, because when they were talking to I want to say the flight attendant, but it's not a flight attendant. It's like the receptionist at the airport. I forgot what they call them. She was kind of explaining how the airport works, since there's like no more airlines. There's no more airlines. And Sydney asked her like, oh, what if we want to fly somewhere else within 30 days? And let me see what she said. What did she say? Because that had me laughing so much. Sydney says, what if we want to go somewhere else during those 30 days? That woman looked at her and said, then I'd say you're doing too much. Now, where are you looking to fly? That just had me cracking up, because it's like, just the fact that she is just there smiling in a situation like this. And she was just like, girl, you doing too much. Like, girl, just say thank God you could get on a plane and go from here to there in this time, in these new age times. Just say thank God. And another thing I was thinking about too is like the whole, how the car park is set up and all of that. And how, I don't know, just being able to fly in that way, and kind of almost taking capitalism out of a lot of this, and a lot of it, I'm just like, is a lot of how they're working in this society, is this collectivism? Is it socialism? I don't know. What is it? I gotta look it up. I gotta look up the definitions of, I was kind of looking up the definitions of socialism, because people are freaking out about what socialism is, but my theory about socialism is, it's not that socialism isn't the problem, it is the intention behind the people working socialism. Just like, similarly, it is not capitalism is necessarily the problem, because I'm also learning. I learned a little bit more about what actual capitalism is, and it's the intention behind who is like the people in capitalism, and especially the people that have a lot of power within capitalism, if they are breaking the rules of capitalism and hoarding a whole bunch of wealth. And this is not an economics lesson. The point is, this book is feeling a little bit like there is some socialism, capitalism, there's some socialism, collectivism business going on, and I'm here for it. I'm very excited about it. It's making me think like, what if it actually reminded me of this show that I heard about called Black America. They were gonna do that like in the late 2010s. It is the premise of the show is that Black American people got reparations, and their reparations was Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and that became its own country called New Colonia. And it was in development at Amazon by the producer Will Packer, and I guess he stopped I don't know, I guess it's still in development, or he stopped developing it. How they're talking about Alabama in this book is making me think of New Colonia, and making me think of Black America, and it's making me think that like I want to watch that Black America show. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I need to find some way to get to Will Packer and say, can you like hook up with like Tyler Perry, Issa Rae, Mara Brock Akil, Kenya Barris? Who else is there? Who else is there that you could call as a producer? Like hook up with all these different Black producers, Lena Waithe, all of them, like, and get together and make this Black America series happen. And even if you can't get everybody together and y'all can't make that happen, can you at least call Cebo Campbell and tell him the story, the premise, the ideas behind the story, and have him write the story? Because I want to read the Black America story so bad. Like, just knowing that premise of like Black American people getting reparations, and their reparations is Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, and it's its own country. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How iconic is that? I want to read that book. I want to read that book so bad. Or at least watch that show, or I need that story very badly. I want to run down on Will Packer's DMs, email, wherever, and be like, so what's up with Black America? Can you make it happen, please? Because I need that in my life. Because bitch, I want to read that book so bad. I'm enjoying this book, and I'm gonna go continue reading because I am having a great time reading this. I'm enjoying it. People are saying that the ending is a hit or miss, because some people are like, they love the story and they love how it ended, and some people are like, it's a great story, but I hated the ending. And I'm just like, I want to see how it ends and how I feel about it. And then I want to see if I understand how other people feel about the ending and why they might feel that way about the ending. I have so many thoughts about Sky Full of Elephants right now. Full disclosure, I'm about to get into my woo-woo, tinfoil hat, conspiracy theory, Illuminati, got your mind, soul, and your body. Like, I'm about to get in that bag right now, because this book had me thinking about so much. I have so many thoughts when it comes to like spirituality, religion, to Pan-Africanism, Blackness. I think I have like one or two more chapters. I'm at chapter 43. I'm at 281. I'm almost done with this book. But like, this book feels revolutionary. There was a scene where Vivian was kind of like listening in on Nona and her friends in her room, in Nona's room. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know why white people don't exist anymore in the United States of America in this book. So I'm just kind of like, is this why it happened? Like, what's going on here? Like, is this why it happened? And then it had me thinking like, this is the woo-woo part. This is the woo-woo, maybe Illuminati-ish kind of thing that I was thinking, is that like, what if, because we're so fractured as Black people across the diaspora wars, all that kind of ridiculous shit in this, like, what if because of that, it's harder for us to, as Black people, to get ourselves out of the subjugated, oppressed, permanent underclass situations that us as a race is experiencing on as a whole. Like, what if it's because there's like this spiritual ancestral like thing that we need to tap into that we're not able to tap into because we're all just so fractured and we're just not able to bring it together. But then I had some more time to think, and as I read some more, I realized that it's like it's not just a spiritual connection, but a lot of it is just the knowledge, like more of us as Black people becoming more conscious of our history, of where we of I don't just the history of Africa, like pre-colonization, pre-slavery, like what were we prior to all of that, and making that connection to that and feeling pride in all of that, but also kind of getting that spiritual connect. Because the thing that I was thinking is that, like, what if a lot of the beliefs, a lot of the things that we're partaking in the I don't know, the Western world, amongst white people, religion and all that stuff, is that like kind of diluting our our like innate African essence, or innate like Black essence, like we have it, but it's diluting it to the point where it's like we can't make connections across the diaspora and really like come together and shift us as a collective out of oppression, subjugation, and into thriving and into living well. I'm telling you, it's real woo woo. It's very, very it's very, very like deep in the bag. But like I had so many quotes that I liked and I loved in this book. And that's the thing, the quotes that really hit, they were tapping into everything that I was already thinking about. Like, let me see. Because in 197, they started talking about all the shit that I was like kind of like tapping into what I was thinking. I was like, oh my gosh, you are articulating everything I'm already thinking. I don't know if it's because that's kind of how he like set the book up to kind of like make you think that at the beginning, but I feel like I don't know my thought process, I don't even think like it would align with how he took the story. I was trying to articulate the ancestral spiritual part of everything, and in a way he kind of like articulated that, but in a science way, because in the book they're talking about like magic and science are kind of basically the same thing in a way, but kind of not, you know? So he was like saying there are electromagnetic, ultraviolet, gamma, infrared, and on and on. These are just the ones known science can quantify. There are a lot more. In fact, every person alive radiates their own waves. Our thoughts, our intuitions, and our feelings are signals we give off. We pass these signals to our children and family in the form of lessons, knowledge, an intuitive awareness that informs our consciousness. It's what we believe and how we experience the world. Understand? Collectively, we all carry so many of the same memories. We carry so much of the same memories. We have, like, when he said that, I was like, yo, because I've already been thinking about that, because I try to experience so much of Black culture across the world. So like I'll see stuff with Black British people. I'll see other Caribbean islands, Brazil, like African countries, and see how like people hang out, party, the music that they make, the like what their fashion sense, style, culture, dances, and so much of it like they so much mirrors each other. The one example that I tend to think of a lot is like jollof rice. That there's like, you know, there's Ghanaian and there's Nigerian jollof rice. But then at the same time, across the diaspora, other people are making similar rice to that. Like for me in Trinidad, there's like pilau, and that's like rice and peas and stewed chicken, but also it kind of has a similar look to jollof rice, but it's like they added more things. They added chicken and they added like pigeon peas to that to make it that. There's what I believe in Jamaica there is rice and peas. I'm not fully familiar with that, but I feel like it's kind of similar to pilau, but I also feel like it would be similar to like jollof in a way, but just like adding peas. Then there's like I know in Haiti they have like a kind of something with rice that mixed with like a bunch of other things like what is it? I don't know. I had it from somebody like a Haitian landlord one time, and they were like they put like a lot of different things like different meats. They had shrimp and stuff in it. It was very very like hearty food. And then there's like in New Orleans there's jambalaya and stuff like that. And I feel like those are all kind of like it's all connected. It's just everybody does something different in different areas and different regions because of environment, because of like historical experiences, and we're also connected. But then it's like if we had more connection, we could just like share and like integrate culture. I mean, on a mass scale, and that even if you grew up with something and you experience somebody else's culture and it doesn't connect, there's still like a respect for the fact that like y'all did y'all thing, we do our thing, and it's all love regardless. This book is so good. It just tapped into so many thoughts for me, and it just like hit so much stuff that I'm already thinking. But let me continue. Collectively, we all carry so many of the same memories. How we ran around in the yard or the streets as kids, how our mamas whipped us with a switch, a belt, or the flat of her hand, how other fathers and our brothers looked at us when we made mistakes, like they were afraid for our lives, the kind of food we ate, how we played, how we couldn't stop ourselves from dancing if the right song hit. Hell, even how we talk to each other, we're connected. We all know it. In every city where Black people live, so does that subtle consciousness, togetherness, usness, how we dance, how we love, how we hope. Everywhere it's basically intuitive, as these are the manifestations of a single buzzing all around us, all the time, all over the world. You follow me? And yeah, because the crazy thing is, it has me thinking about like Aisho Speed's tour of Africa, because like right now I'm catching up on it because I wasn't watching from the beginning, seeing his experience over there, and I'm seeing like so much of the culture that they have over there is like culture that I've seen across the diaspora, like across, like you see it in black, like American culture, you see it in Caribbean culture, and you see it in Brazilian culture, you see it across the diaspora, but it just shows up in its own like unique specific different ways, but there's like a core could like resemblance amongst everything that says like we all connected, we all apart, like we all on the same vibe, the same wavelength, you know. It's just that we're just kind of like we haven't like according to the book we haven't calibrated to make that connection yet to where we're kind of shifting our, I don't know, we're shifting us as a collective of Black people into thriving, because I feel like there's like a wavelength, a calibration that we need to get to where we're all just gonna connect like from wherever we are across the diaspora, and we're just like moving ourselves into thriving, and regardless of what anybody that is trying to shut down, sabotage what we're doing as Black people to get to a better place, to get us to more connection, to get us to thriving, to get us to living good, they not gonna be able to stop it, because the power, like our power is too strong. We too connected. The like ancestry, our ancestors, the strength of African land is in us, or is connected to us, or protect us. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's getting woo. It's real woo. It's real Illuminati. It's real conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat. Illuminati got your mind, soul, and your body. Africans already knew a long, long time ago. They understood how to tune into everything, everywhere. A fully connected world, a collective consciousness. Collective consciousness. They weren't out conquering the world because they didn't have to. They had power before electrical grids, connection before the internet, unification before continents had names. They had it, and it was taken, broken apart, sold, buried, burned, destroyed. Baby, I'm telling you, this book is revolutionary. I just feel like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this book, and I'm like, baby, how come I haven't seen more people talk about this book? Because this book is just so, it's juicy. Like for 200 and something, almost 300 pages, this this is packing a lot. It's packing a lot of punch. It's got a lot of like great world building. Like I want to live in this world. Like I don't want to live in the world of Parable of the Sower. Like reading it was enough of an experience, but I want to live in this real world. Like this is a world where it's like it's black self-determination, and we're growing and building and thriving, and I'm like, I want to see that. Like I want to live in this world so bad. I'm about to finish these last few pages. I probably should finish these last few pages, but these thoughts have been on my mind for the longest, and I really was like, let me get in front of the camera and say something, but then I was like, let me keep reading, because I'm like, and then I was like processing it and thinking about like, this book is so good. It is so good. It is like, I'm sorry, this is revolutionary. This book feels revolutionary. It feels right on time, because I feel like this year, although there's like, so I feel like there's some negative shifts in, look at me getting woo woo again, but it's like, I feel like there's some negative shifts that are happening, but then I feel like there's also positive shifts, and those positive shifts are happening for Black people across the diaspora. We just gotta, as Black people, tap into that. The vibe is like, yo, it's some good stuff is happening for us as Black folks, and we need to get on the wavelength and make those connections and start making, I don't know, making moves. I don't even know how to describe it, but I feel like there's like a thing happening in I don't know, something's happening for Black people in 2026, and it's gonna be good. We just got to tap in and be open to it. I think that's what it is. We just got to tap in and be open to it, and also use discernment and assess clearly that, you know, but I feel something good. But I'm gonna just go finish this and see how it ends, because I want to see what this ending is that everybody keeps saying is like, that people are feeling so split on. I have some assumptions as to why some people may not have liked the ending, and some people may have found plot holes in it. I didn't find any plot holes. I found things like snapping together. I think I think it's not necessarily plot holes. I think there are knowledge gaps that just weren't filled. So that's where the plot holes came up for some people. I had some awareness and some knowledge. So yeah, I'm gonna go finish these chapters, and I'm gonna be back with the ending. I'm about to finish Sky Full of Elephants. Wish me luck. Sky Full of Elephants did answer all the questions that I had at the beginning, or at least mostly answered the questions that I had right before I started reading this. It did answer my question on whether everyone that identifies as white is gone. It did answer my question on if it was only white American people that were gone, or at least white people in the Americas. It did answer my question on if it's the people with Caucasian ancestry. It did answer my question on if people who had low melanin, if they were the ones that were gone. It did answer my question on if people with minute levels of African DNA but were not melanated. It answered my question on why white people do not exist in this world anymore. It answered my question on whether it was their guilt and shame catching up to them. It kind of did answer the question, I feel like. It kind of did. But kind of didn't answer. I don't know, I guess so. It answered my question on whether it was the ancestors of Black and brown people and people of color coming together to dismiss them. It did answer that question. And it answered my question on whether it was a massive band of Etsy witches. Yeah. I did not hate the ending. I enjoyed the ending. It ended very triumphantly and very celebratory. The ending feels like it could lead to a sequel book, which I hope there is a sequel to this, because I want to see what happens after this ending. I would love to see more of the world. There's a lot of tabs in here, but I have a lot of thoughts. Like I wrote down, I have notes. I'll put notes. There was notes here. There's like page numbers like laid out in here. So I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it's just like a weird confirmation bias. Maybe my phone is listening to me a little too closely, so it was just lining a whole bunch of videos up and stuff with what I'm reading. I'm gonna get woo-woo again, but it felt real, you know, aligned. It feels like a sign, you know? Sky Full of Elephants definitely felt like a movie. I feel like if I read this in one sitting, it would have definitely been like a movie. It felt like a movie. that I kept hitting pause on. Also, I figured out what Sky Full of Elephants mean, but I'm gonna leave that till the end. Let me know if you figured it out in the comments, but I figured out what Sky Full of Elephants means. So, some of my takeaways from the book that I had my notes for. On page 245, there was a mention of feminine energy and like sitting under feminine energy to kind of get clarity. That had me thinking that like in our real world, this might be why there is misogyny, patriarchy, transphobia, and homophobia. To tap into the feminine energy would dismantle so many oppressive structures and systems. This was the quote that inspired me to write that. I'll tell you what you need. You need to go sit under a woman. Feminine energy in whatever form you can find it. The feminine is sacred because the feminine is still connected to the universe. So my takeaways that I wrote down: if the violence and trauma that has been inflicted on Black people isn't addressed by the people that caused it, there will be a day it comes back to bite them. The ones that caused the harm and who haven't acknowledged it and made amends for that harm. My next note: as Black folks, we need to get to know the knowledge of our history to understand the ancestral lineage we came from. There's more knowledge now to tap into, but we also need a critical and discerning eye and mind to assess what is valuable and what is not. Not only our histories during and after slavery onward to the present day, but also before that and colonization. Also, people that get this knowledge, who have this knowledge, can figure out ways to disseminate that information to those who may not be able to easily access it and inspire them to gain more knowledge. If we gain the knowledge of our ancestry and history and reconnect to our African heritage and our African spirituality, we could shift the world into our favor and maybe even heal the world. Maybe our African spirituality is not necessarily one practice or ritual or way of doing things. Maybe it is us tapping into our innate ways of connecting to our God, our source, our higher power, and strengthening it. It's about connecting to our history and what we are meant to inherit from our ancestors from the African continent. It's also about us connecting our cultural similarities to each other. I do feel like the ending of the book, it left me kind of with the message that the indigenous peoples of the world, but more specifically of North America, that ending was about them uniting. I will say this about the prose. I was adverse to the prose at the beginning, but it really was good. It really was good prose that I could really connect to, that I could really see what I was reading. I could connect with the emotions and everything in it. And it really did not obfuscate what the story was trying to tell me. So much of what I connected to, it made so much of it resonate because the words were just so well done, well put together, well chosen. To tie back to the African spirituality and the knowledge piece, how you practice your spirituality is up to you, as long as it doesn't harm anyone or the collective or the earth and nature. Do what you feel works for you. For me, growing up, I've kind of learned that feeling is seen as wrong or not a fully valid part of your human existence. Like, it's like you feel, but it's also like you should ignore your feelings in favor of finding answers or validation outside of yourself. When what you're feeling inside, you should be paying attention to that, addressing that, and finding the answers within. It was a video where they were talking about how like African people were here African people were here first on this planet. Like, they were the first people, and way before the Greek, way before Romans, tens of thousands of years prior to them, they were already working on things like math and language and science and art and all of these things. And it's the Greeks that were coming to Africa to learn these things I know I'm sounding real hotep right now. I promise you, I'm not being a hotep. I'm so serious. Right now, I'm being the two times that Dr. Umar is right as the broken clock that he is. From what I've learned, the Greeks, they were coming to Africa to learn, and they are the ones you like very much attributed to these things. And a lot of it, they're attributed to these things because of whiteness. My understanding of Sky Full of Elephants, like the title itself, is it's like the elephant in the room, the obvious issue that needs to be addressed, but it's not being addressed. It's even ignored. So, the sky full of elephants is all the issues, trauma, and unresolved energy from black people's lives and existence through our history under white supremacy that is not being acknowledged and addressed. Also, Sky Full of Elephants would have definitely been a great read to read after Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents. This book left me feeling very, I ain't gonna lie, very Pan Africanist, very pro black, but very like wanting black unity, connection. I just learned a word, or I just got introduced to the meaning of the word Ubuntu. It's got me feeling real Ubuntu, real like let's get together as a collective of black people across the diaspora and let's get, I don't know, let's make things happen, let's make things thrive, let's make things work, let's make things go as a group of just like black people, African people across the world. Like let's get together. Like it's got me feeling that way. But the only thing that I feel like the book didn't fully address, or at least didn't really do too much of, and make it really explicit, was just like LGBTQ people. Like how are they existing in a world of predominantly black people that have experienced colonization, colonialism, and white supremacy, that have taught them that being LGBTQ is bad, it's wrong, and it should not be a thing, it should not exist. So it's like, what would a world where it's predominantly black people coming together who have experienced colonization and white supremacy, and then you have LGBTQ people in that mix, like how are they going to be able to exist in that world when we have to still, would we still have to combat prejudice from other black people who are gonna tell us that, like, well, yeah, y'all black and y'all here with us, but also like y'all can't be LGBTQ. That's crazy. Y'all might have to go a whole nother separate area. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Is that what's gonna happen in real life? Or like even if that was to happen in this book, in this world, because we do have a character, we have Zoo, who is non-binary, non-gender conforming, so it's kind of like, yes, it has this person, but they don't have, and they seem to be living a good life, and things are great for them, but it's like, it's also kind of like, how are other black people within the world? But I mean, there was a lesbian, there were like lesbians who used to be in a relationship together, who, I don't know, they're friends or partners or something, I don't know, they were space partners. And it's just like they are existing and they chilling, but it's also still like, I also think about like the prejudice, like the reality of prejudice, of like, y'all have experienced colonialism, y'all have experienced white supremacy, y'all have experienced anti-LGBTQ propaganda and indoctrination. So at the end of the day, even if the white people are gone, did that kind of thinking go with you? So I don't know. That was the one thing that was the one question that my head was left with, and I would love it to be, yeah, all the white people stop existing, and then it's just black people and people of color just chilling. But can we be queer? Can we be trans? Can we be gay? Can we be, lesbians? Can we be just that? Can we just be non-binary and just chilling, and everybody's like, you know what? What's your pronouns? And it's fine. And it's not a big deal. Okay, you like him? That's fine. It's not a big deal. But I will say this though. I have this little theory. I have this feeling that, like, I don't know, the whole time I'm reading it, like there's no subtext or no clues that said that, like, oh, Tao is gay, but I was just feeling like, I just got this sense that, like, is Tao gay, or he might be like LGBTQ, he might be queer, he might be in the community, but we just don't know yet. He's just not had the opportunity to express that. And I felt like Zoo might have been the person that he would have like engaged with and been like showing attraction to or affection for, but we never got to that point. And then Tao was just very angry. So I feel like if the book was to continue, maybe see that Tao we would see Tao get over his anger, but he'll also still be like finding people that he's attracted to and wants to, I don't know, somebody that he wants to be in love with, somebody that he's, I don't know, attracted to, and then we'll find out that that person's gay or queer or just non-binary or something, you know? And most likely somebody who's biologically male. I'm just saying, that's what I think. That's just what I think. You know what I'm saying? He might be bisexual, you just never know. Or he might just be pansexual, you just never know. But, you know, that's what I was thinking. That's the vibe I was getting. That's what I was reading. I don't know. Somehow I did. It's intuition. I just connect. I know Tao. Something about Tao just gives me gay. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the muscles. I don't know. Gays love a muscle body.